Okay, just so you know, we got recorders going, all right?
You got what going?
Recorders.
Recorders going? Okay, so do I.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I just want to keep everything cool. I'm not going to, like, come close to you guys. I don't have any weapons. I'm not a weirdo. I'm not going to do that stuff. But can I ask for your guys' names and badge numbers?
I'm Officer Dewey.
Thank you.
My badge number is 119.
Thank you, sir.
Officer Fritz, 602.
Thank you, sir.
And Wes, 663.
Okay. Am I being detained?
Not at the second. We're home.
Okay.
Be able to talk to you.
Thank you. What crime has been committed, is being committed, or is about to be committed? Can you tell me that?
As of right now, we haven't talked to anybody else.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and listen carefully because what you're about to watch is another moment that raises serious questions about authority and accountability. The narrator immediately sets the tone, reminding viewers that recording in public is completely legal. Anyone standing in a public space has the right to film whatever they can see with their own eyes. Yet somehow, time and time again, we see situations where officers act as if those rights suddenly disappear the moment someone calls the police. That's the core of the issue here. Someone made a complaint, officers showed up, and now the tension begins. The man recording wants transparency. He wants answers. But what starts as a simple conversation quickly turns into something much more serious, and the atmosphere begins to shift in a way that makes everyone watching wonder exactly where this encounter is headed.
We just saw you here.
Okay.
We were just got some calls that.
So this is probably the 5th time they've called you guys in the last few days. What I'm doing is completely legal. I looked up the rules, the laws, the municipal codes on the ingress, egress, for example. Like, they got their cars parked on the sidewalk, like that right there, not ADA compliant with municipal code. You can look it up. 4.707, chapter 3. If I want to, I can go get a chair and sit in their driveway and block all their traffic coming in and out. If I want to be a real dick, I could do that, because the law allows specific certain circumstances for blocking ingress and egress at businesses, as long as I'm on the public property of it. So I'm well aware of how the law works. I'm not making any threats of no calls to violence, nothing. Matter of fact, these last people right here, this guy right here in the black shirt, go ask him about me. I just had an interaction with them. If you guys want to do that, I'm not going anywhere. I'm hanging around here. I'm not trying to hide from you guys or anything. If I'm not standing right here after you talk to them, it's not because I'm running away. It's just because I'm probably walking around the block. I just warn customers that come in about like potential fraud, or how Kiefer will basically screw them on the back end. So,
What's your name?
My name's Anthony. Or, yeah.
Anthony, if you'd be willing to, could you just take a seat on the curb and then I can go?
Am I being detained? Okay, then I'm free to go, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, I'm trying to help you guys. Sir, what?
Hey, yeah, you're being detained.
For what? What crime am I? For what?
Alright guys, now here's where the interaction really begins to unfold. The officers approach calmly at first, and the man filming immediately tries to keep the situation cool. He makes it clear that he's recording, that he isn't armed, and that he has no intention of causing problems. In fact, he does something many citizens rarely do during police encounters. He politely asks for the officers' names and badge numbers. And to their credit, the officers provide them. But then comes the critical question that changes everything: am I being detained? That single sentence flips the entire dynamic. Because in the world of law enforcement, that question forces officers to clarify their authority. The man wants to know if he's free to go or if he's being held. And suddenly, the calm conversation starts turning into a legal standoff.
Yeah.
Sorry, what am I being detained for?
Disorderly conduct. Have a seat.
Disorderly conduct?
Yeah. Have
What?
a seat. You're
How?
being detained. Have a
You
seat,
have-
or you're gonna end up in handcuffs.
Why do you just chill out, dude?
Hey, dude, I'm telling you to have a seat. You are being
I'm
detained.
disabled. I'm disabled.
Okay.
Okay?
You're a big guy.
I'm
right?
Dude, I'm not gonna hurt anyone.
that called us and find out what the complaint is.
That's what I said. Tell you what,
that's
I
why I
will
want you to stay
tell you what, let me help you out. What am I can you give me RAS for the detention? Because right now you're
I
effectively
just
making
did.
an arrest.
No, I just did.
For what?
I just want you to stay here.
You don't have any evidence. You just told me you haven't talked to anyone. Go.
Trespass, disorderly conduct. That's what we're
Don't
investigating.
try this
So
shit
you're
with me.
being
I'm already
detained.
aware of how this works.
Okay. So am I.
You're being a jerk, man.
No, you're being a jerk.
I came up here
This
to help
officer
you guys
asked you
out.
to have a seat, all right? And I'm telling you to have a seat now because you're not listening. Do you understand that?
Okay, I'm not going to hurt you or anything. I'm telling you, I am
Can you
disabled.
just have a seat then, man?
No, I'm going to stand here. You already.
Okay.
You
cool.
cannot give
That's
me
fine.
RAS for this. Are you the? Okay, you're their supervisor.
I am.
Okay, can you explain why he's telling me I'm detained?
Well, he's doing an investigation.
I
You're not
understand that,
physically
but
detained.
okay, so I'm free to go then, right?
No.
So you have to tell me, why am I being detained? What
Because
crime?
we're doing an investigation.
No, that's not good
Trespass.
enough. I know the law. You have to
Okay.
tell me, what crime have you
Criminal
suspected?
trespass in the second degree.
Bullshit.
In municipal code.
You don't have any proof. You don't have any proof.
4.807.
4 point what?
That's what we're doing. The investigation.
Are
We're
you feeling
getting
4.705? 4.707?
4.807 criminal trespass. Second
It's not
degree.
criminal
It's
trespass. I haven't stepped on their property.
Okay. We're getting to the bottom of that. That's
Okay.
That's what.
If you guys want to do an investigation, that's fine,
Uh-huh.
but it's not legal for you to detain me. Look
Okay.
this up. Chapter 42,
I'll write this
U.S.
down.
Code, Section 1983.
We'll take a look.
You lose your QI.
Is where the tension starts climbing fast. The officers admit they haven't even spoken to anyone yet about the complaint. They simply saw him standing there after receiving calls. But the man fires back with confidence, explaining that this isn't the first time police have been called on him. In fact, according to him, it's happened multiple times over the past few days. He insists that everything he's doing is completely legal and claims he has already researched the laws, municipal codes, and regulations about public access areas. He even starts citing specific legal sections about public ingress and egress. To him, the sidewalk and nearby access areas are public space. And if he's standing on public property, he believes the police have absolutely no legal reason to interfere with him.
You don't get to detain and arrest people for no reason.
Once arrested you, nobody's physically
You have no
detained you.
proof.
We're doing
Okay,
an
so I'm free to go then.
When we came up, you were right there on that corner, right on the parking lot right there. Okay, that's their.
No, I'm
so
not.
hold tight.
It's not their property.
It is.
No, it's not.
Okay.
That is public ingress and egress, and it goes at least 4 feet from the curb right there. How would somebody in a wheelchair get from that corner down this sidewalk? I'm not an idiot. I looked this stuff up. The cop that was here yesterday told me to get off the street because I didn't want to stand on that part and freak them out because they don't know the law. They're not familiar. Like, for example, I've already passed national real estate law, so I understand how this works.
Fascinating.
He told me, oh yeah, okay, now you're being a smart ass. I'm trying to help you out here,
I
okay?
don't need the help.
What are you being
Frankly,
detained?
I don't-
What am I
I
being
don't need
detained
you
for?
to fill us in on the details. We could just sit here in absolute silence. That
What
would
are
be
we
just
being?
fine.
What am I being detained for?
I've explained that to you.
No, tell me the
I've already
law.
told you. I've already told you.
What's your badge number?
It's 225
What's your DPST?
44820
Perfect, thank you. What's yours?
54191. He doesn't have to tell you that.
It's public records.
I'm just kidding. I wanted to see what you'd say.
Yeah, I know you guys can lie to me. I'm well aware you guys can lie to me.
Those are not lies. You could look those up.
It's public records.
Right.
I mean, I could punch it in right now and pull it up if I want to.
That's correct.
Okay. So what are we waiting for?
Waiting for the officers to go talk to the people inside who called us about your behavior. When they have made a determination or figured things out, we'll go from there.
This is
And
like the 5th time they've called you guys. You guys leave every time. And I've been...
I haven't met you yet, so...
Dude, I got assaulted right there yesterday, and the cops that came out, I called 911. Somebody came off the property on the public property right there, assaulted me. I have the film. It's already uploaded.
Okay.
I'm sending it to Sergeant Maloney.
Okay.
Okay? I got assaulted. I showed Fox and Tio when they came out, and they didn't do shit. They just got in their squad cars and left. I was assaulted, broke my phone case, and see the camera lens right here? That's cracked now too.
Okay, I
It's
can't
not a
see it,
cheap
but
phone.
believe it. I see that. It's an iPhone.
So,
Moment where the situation escalates sharply. The officers ask him to simply sit down on the curb while they figure things out. But the man pushes back immediately. Again he asks the same question, am I being detained? At first the officers hesitate, but then suddenly everything changes. One officer declares that he is being detained for disorderly conduct. Just like that, the encounter moves into a completely different category. The officer demands that he sit down or risk being placed in handcuffs. The man refuses, explaining that he's disabled and insisting that he hasn't committed any crime. His argument is simple: without a clear reason or evidence, detaining him would violate his rights. And now the entire interaction is teetering on the edge of turning into a full-blown confrontation.
sorry.
I'm well aware of the law, so if you guys try to arrest me here, it's not going to go anywhere.
Okay, well, if I had $1 for every
If
time
you're
I heard
going to
this,
violate my civil rights,
no one plans on violating your civil rights. We'll make an arrest if there's probable cause.
probable cause for, so you don't have any RAS right now to keep me detained.
I'm not doing any
You just
investigating.
admitted
I'm
that.
sitting here bantering with you. I'm doing
Okay, so I'm
zero
free to go?
investigating. So no, I've already told you that. That hasn't changed. I'll let you know the second it changes. You can
No, you can't just detain people for no reason. You have to have,
We're doing an investigation.
you have to do that first.
Do what first? Explain.
Do
this.
your investigation and get your so-called proof or reasonable articulable suspicion first. You have to get that
We've
first.
got that. You were on their property. It sounds like
No,
the
I'm
officers
not.
pulled up. You were on their.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well,
No, I
we'll
was
get
not.
to the bottom of it. Sometimes that takes some time.
Okay.
So that's why we
So
ask
can
people to remain.
can I apologize and just simmer this down then?
That'd be great.
Okay. So do you know how far from the curb public ingress and egress extends?
No idea.
Okay, look it up then.
For what reason? Why would I need to do that?
So you know that I'm not trespassing. I've never been
I'm
trespassed.
familiar with what
I've
trespass
never
and its
been
elements.
trespassed.
Okay.
Ever.
They've never asked you to leave?
No, they can't.
Okay.
I've never gone on their property.
Okay. Well,
They've
as
told
long
they've
as
told you
stay-
guys every time that you guys come out here. And look, I know you're upset and you think I'm like being a dick.
Nobody's
or
upset
something.
with you.
You guys you sound very upset, sir.
Oh, because I told you to do something for me and you were totally
It's not a lawful order. Anyways,
Sure.
listen,
Sure.
I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just saying there is public
Well,
there's public
okay.
ingress and egress from the
That's
curbs.
debatable.
So they're gonna pull up the blueprints. They're gonna go down to the county
That-
clerk's
no,
office.
That's not how probable cause is established. It's a more likely than not standard. Okay?
Okay.
So we don't go out and we don't measure things down to the inches. It's a more likely than not.
Okay.
It's a legal standard that's stood the test of time that we have all the training
Can you-
experience to figure out.
Okay. Can you
That's
show me where they said I was at on the property?
Okay, your questions designed to get me to dive into the minutia of this are ridiculous. Of course I can't. I just got
Okay,
here. I've
show
been
me
talking
what-
to
can
you
you
the
show me
entire
where?
time. No, I can't. I don't know where they're talking about. I'm not the one doing the investigation. I'm just standing here bantering back and
Okay,
forth
can
with
you tell me where they said I was at on their
can't
property?
either.
Oops, sorry. I'm not trying to come towards you. I
I
just
don't, I
tripped.
don't get why you don't understand what he's telling you. We've been here talking with you.
Yeah, and you said you're detaining me. So
Yes.
effectively,
So
by this
other
time,
officer can conduct his investigation.
that doesn't matter. I don't have to help with your investigation.
I'm not asking you to help.
The legal debate gets intense. The man starts challenging the officers directly, demanding what's known as reasonable articulable suspicion, the legal standard police must have before detaining someone. From his perspective, the officers admitted they hadn't even spoken to witnesses yet. That means, in his mind, there's no legal justification for holding him there. The supervising officer steps in and tries to calm things down, explaining that they're conducting an investigation. But the man refuses to accept that explanation. He insists the law requires officers to identify the specific crime they believe has occurred. Without that, he claims the detention itself is unlawful. And now the scene turns into a heated back and forth about constitutional rights, police authority, and the limits of investigative detention.
You're
You're
detaining me to do your investigation.
Because if you committed a crime,
Dude,
then you're gonna.
this is the fifth
Are you
time
from
they've
Eugene
called.
originally?
This is the fifth time they've called you guys out. And every time you guys get back in your cars and leave.
Well, each
Well,
time's
maybe,
every
maybe it'll be
different.
6. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be 6.
At this point, it's harassment. I've already called, and
They
I've
could
started a
probably say the
harassment.
same about you, bud. If you're out here harassing them and their
I'm not
customers.
harassed. Do you know what's harassment then?
I don't know. You said you contacted their customers
Yeah,
as they're coming in.
Which I can do. I can talk to people on the
Yeah,
sidewalk.
you sure can.
Okay,
That's what
thank
we're
you.
doing here too, right? So how are we harassing you?
So
Because
if
then that's
I'm
what
standing
you're
here
harassing them.
and somebody over there
Okay.
can hear me, so what? As long as I'm not making any threats or calls to action, that would be violence, right? Correct? I'm not
That is
doing any of that.
correct.
They don't have any film. I have film of them threatening me.
Well, are you going to show it to us?
No, because last time it didn't do any good. I'm going to take this and I'm going to send it all. I'm going to talk to Sergeant Maloney.
Okay, well, that's
I just-
your complete prerogative.
I've talked to him for quite a while. Hopefully I can trust him. I don't know you.
I think you
I don't
can
know
trust
you,
him.
but you
Sergeant
sound.
Maloney's a good guy.
He sounded like, honestly, he did sound like
I've
he was a
known him
good
for 20
dude.
Years. I think the world.
And I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't know you. You just walked out a few minutes. I talked to him for like an hour. He sounds like a guy that'll actually do something about me getting assaulted, my private property being damaged, and these guys harassing me. It's a waste of resources for you guys to come out here when I'm doing a 1A protected.
Closely, because the man doubles down on his legal knowledge. He begins referencing federal civil rights law, specifically mentioning statutes connected to lawsuits against government officials who violate constitutional protections. He warns the officers that detaining someone without proper justification could expose them to legal consequences. At the same time, the officers maintain their position, explaining that they're trying to determine whether he was standing on private property belonging to the nearby business. According to them, when they arrived, it appeared he was on the edge of the business parking lot. But the man fiercely disputes that claim, arguing that the area is part of public access space extending several feet from the curb. To him, this isn't just an argument, it's proof that the officers misunderstand the property boundaries.
One quick question though regarding that. What exactly are you doing here? Why do they keep calling?
Because when I talk to people, which is legal for me to talk to them,
Okay.
I just warn them about potential fraud on their financing that happens in the office there, and they're upset about it. But I also have film from the GM yesterday who came up to me and he said that business is just as good or better with me out here. So how would I be harassing or disturbing them?
I'm not delving
I've got
into their
that's the thing is
hiring practices.
I know every time I bring up something like that, you guys, that's your answer every time is, oh, I don't want to argue, or I don't know about this. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just saying, like, look, man, at this point, it's harassment. They're wasting your time.
I wouldn't categorize it harassment if you're coming down here to
talk to people.
Well, I mean, that's probably what you're saying to yourself, but I don't think that's necessarily.
So
what
how's
you're
that
doing.
illegal?
I never said it was illegal.
Okay.
I said it's probably what you're telling yourself to justify what you're doing.
Oh my God. Okay. That doesn't matter.
Correct.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
You're right.
you can call me a jerk and the F slur and stuff, and you have.
A jerk or the F word.
I'm just saying you have protected, a right to do that. I'm sure you're professional and you wouldn't do that.
So hello guys, welcome back, and today I'm going live trading with you. What else? Binary trading. You can see this. Okay guys, today's I'm going to off